Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all keeping really well. If you're new here, my name is Amy. I'm an ecologist and I make content about plants. And if you're not new here, hello and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to do kind of a 1 month, has it been a month? Might have been a month and a half. A 1 month review of my Mother PlantSpectrum32 grow light that Mother sent me to try out and review and let you guys know how it's doing. And also give you an update on my carnivorous plant terrarium at the same time, because what I've done with the Mother PlantSpectrum32 grow light is use it for my carnivorous plant terrarium setup. So it's been about 7-8 months since I've created this carnivorous plant terrarium. If you want to watch the original video of how I built it, you can do so here. I will link it somewhere. And also the last video I did was a 3-month update, 3 months into growing this, and I will also link that if you want a background to this. So yeah, essentially what I realized with the plant terrarium, carnivorous plant terrarium, was that it was not getting enough light at all. So the first place I had it was kind of on the ground with artificial grow lights that I've had for a long time. They're kind of the clip-on ones. I got them in Amazon many moons ago, and that's all I was essentially using. Now I knew that that wasn't really enough. It wasn't providing enough light for this terrarium whatsoever. So then I moved it. It's in the TV room, living room downstairs. I moved it to a table in front of the window that I thought would provide it with a good chunk more light. But I also found that that wasn't really enough, and I thought that the grow lights just weren't strong enough for these plants and that they were really crying out for more light. While a lot of the plants were still growing, I also lost quite a few. The moss has been up and down and all around. So I decided that would be great to use the Mother PlantSpectrum32 to test out providing a much higher quality light source for these plants. It is still in front of the window, but the only thing that's really changed in many months has been the upgrade of the light source. Now, so I will take you to the terrarium for a full update, but the kind of key things that I want to kind of review about the light is that, number one, I found it really easy to use. It's been very straightforward. I haven't had any issues with it not working, parts breaking, anything like that. It has worked perfect since I've had it. So what I haven't done is attach this to a timer yet. So I have been flicking on in the morning and turning it off at night. That's fine. I just need to get another timer for it. I normally keep all of my lights on a timer so that I don't have to be minding them too much. I think the design is very beautiful. I said all of this in the unboxing video. The design is beautiful, it's sleek, it's compact, it's very simple, it's straightforward. I just love the way it looks. Now what I will say is that I don't think it's really suited to the setup that I have it in right now. It is essentially lying on top of the glass laterally, as you can see, and I don't think that that is a great setup. I just couldn't find any other way to use this light with the terrarium as it is now. I do know that this light has a micro farm kind of setup that you can buy additionally, which kind of, it literally is on 2 stands and it just kind of goes like that. I do think that that would be much more suited to the setup, although I wasn't sure that the height of the stand would be enough to fit the terrarium underneath. Ideally, in an ideal world, I'd way prefer this hanging from the ceiling or hanging from a rail or something and then just above the glass. However, this is how I have it right now. Not a permanent solution, but it has worked fine for me throughout this time, and I'm probably not going to change it anytime soon. So yeah, that's less than ideal. I was also a little bit worried about having the light on top of the glass and whether or not this would, you know, do anything, but I haven't had any issues. Like most LED lights, it does generate some heat. Now that is totally normal as far as plant grow lights go, and they say that they do have a very cooling design as well. The kind of cylinder aids in the cooling of the LEDs as they're working. Now, while it's hot, it's not piping hot. It's not like too hot that I couldn't touch it. Do you know what I mean? So I really don't think that that's an issue. It's very similar to the other lights that I have that do get a little bit warm, I guess, as they're working, which I think is totally normal. Like I said, it's not getting to a temperature that I think is serious or anything like that. It's just normal general operating of grow lights, in my opinion. The light itself, obviously, as it's a full spectrum grow light, you want it to kind of mimic full sun so that it is providing the plant with the correct color temperatures across the range that they can use, which I go into a lot of detail on that, on photosynthetically active radiation, lighting, color temperatures, all of that in the unboxing video if you want to watch that first. But because of that, it obviously creates quite a white light. I don't think that honestly doesn't really bother me. I do generally prefer kind of warm temperature lighting throughout my house, but generally my plant lights are off in the evening anyway, so that doesn't really bother me. But just to note, it is a white light. It is very bright as well, but as long as that's not kind of facing towards you, I think that's totally fine. Like I said, it just kind of sits in the corner there. It doesn't bother anyone. As far as its performance, the plants have in this time already reacted to a different light source. I've noticed some things about them, which I will go through, that have told me that there's been a significant increase in the light available to them, which obviously tells me that the light, like, it does work. It is providing a much higher quality light source for the plants, and they're already reacting to it after just over a month's time. So I think that really says it all, doesn't it? The plants have reacted. It's obviously providing them with what they need. It's high light, it's high quality light, and it's serving its purpose. So I'm quite excited to see how the plants react over a longer period of time once they get comfortable and used to that, how their growth is going to change. Maybe I won't lose so many plants in it. We will see. But yeah, so all in all, as a general overview, I'm really, really happy with the light. I think it's beautiful, it's compact, it's simple, it does its job, it's high quality. I honestly don't have any complaints or anything negative to say about it. Like I do with all of my kind of testing of grow lights, I can let you guys know how it goes over a longer period of time, 6 months to a year, to see if anything changes over time. But so far, I'm really happy with it. I think it would be suited to so many different situations. The fact that you can attach it to the ceiling, you can attach it to a shelf, you can use the microfarm mount, you can have it just freestanding on the ground. I think the versatility of that is really nice and is something that I don't see with other lights. In general, there maybe is one other brand I can think of that do that kind of thing, but I like how it's the same light but can be used in many different situations based off additional mounts and things like that. So I really, really like that aspect of it, and obviously it looks nice. Like I said in the first video, it doesn't look like an industrial factory kind of light. It looks like a light that should be in your home, which is nice. So let's get to updating you on the terrarium, how the plants have reacted, what it looks like now. I've also added some things, so let's get straight into that. Okay, so here we go. There is beautiful mother light sitting there very nicely on the kind of flat side. So what do we have going on here? This is how it currently looks. Just going to move this out of the way. I guess starting over here we have the sundews. They are looking, I think, honestly pretty fantastic, very healthy. If you can see here, we have some babies that popped up out of nowhere. I don't really know how that happened, but I'm very excited about it. So they are spreading, they're happy, and they do catch the odd gnat, as you can see, and thing like that. They seem to be very happy, definitely have grown a lot faster, like put out more leaves since I've put the mother grow light on it. Beside this then, I think the biggest difference I've seen has to be with the butterworts. If you have seen previous videos of this, you will know that the butterworts were very kind of flat growing, and they were growing quite laterally. Now they're growing quite upwards. The leaves are juicier. They're definitely growing faster, and they just look more plump and happy. It's very hard to focus on that now. Let me show you the other one. It's definitely bigger difference. So yeah, the new leaves are quite plump. It's growing upwards, as you can see, rather than kind of flat and laterally. And they seem really, really happy, honestly. Also, the leaves are a lot more buttery, if you know what I mean. Which I say is probably healthier. As far as other things, I did add small bits of new sphagnum and other plants. I will get the name of this for you, but this plant likes kind of wetter conditions. These I took essentially from the wild in Ireland in kind of boggier habitats. Again, not in protected habitats, and I only took 1 or 2 specimens. Just be very responsible and careful about doing those things. If you don't know whether something is a protected habitat, you can find out, okay? I added this, and this is going to flower soon. And then I added some other bits as well. Here's another one of the same, which has more flowers growing on it. These are quite tall, so they might have to be cut back in time, and new bits of sphagnum everywhere. So this is a new clump of sphagnum as well, which it's staying green. It's been a couple of weeks in there now. There's another new clump I put in here. These are weeds that I have to pull soon. This has grown. This is a marsh violet. I don't know why it's not focusing. This is a marsh violet. I have another one over here, native to Ireland in bog habitats again. Quite a bit of sphagnum I put over here. There's one of our native butterworts that I took and planted that in here. Pingicula vulgaris, I think, has a lot of kind of dead insects. Has a lot of dead insects already on the leaves. Now, I believe this has rooted because there is new growth and it seems to be happier, whereas I had another one that died instantly. So I took that out. This one is Bog Pimpernel. This one is Bog Pimpernel. It was flowering recently. I have a couple of bits of this around the place. Some of it has died off, this piece. And some of it is growing, actively growing and flowering, this piece here. So I'm very happy about that. Obviously then we have Venus flytrap is looking very happy in my opinion. It's growing quite fast. The traps are staying open. Some of them have turned red, which I assume is to do with the higher light levels, although I'm not fully sure. Then we have the other sundew, which is growing quite a bit. New leaves. We also have new babies around the place. I think that's everything new. So I'm going to give you kind of an overview of what's changed other than lighting in here. So one of the biggest things is that I have very much upped the water content of this. I think that has probably been one of the most difficult things to figure out with this terrarium, and I think why a lot of the moss has died and stuff. And I trialed putting like kind of cling film or this kind of wrap over the top of it to keep humidity in, but I found that I think it just wasn't enough airflow as well. So having that balance was very difficult for me. So I've decided to kind of leave it open, but just water more often. And that seems to be working quite a bit better for me. Also, I have been watering it like not just misting and spraying it, but actually putting a lot of water in. The way that this is, I've kind of done it to mimic native bog habitats that kind of have raised sections. Like this is raised, I'll show you from the side. There's kind of depressions in the middle. For example, this part is a big depression and this stays fairly wet, and sometimes after I water it there's like an actual pool here. that seems to have done a lot better now. That balance is very, very fine, whether you start getting things like mold or I have noticed these kinds of algae bits growing, this blue-green algae here and also over here. So whenever I see that, I kind of hold off a little bit on the watering. It's very tough to get this right, guys, in a non-native environment. I think one of the biggest things as well, which I do believe has had a huge impact of this, is that I've added some small insects. So there's loads of springtails in here already. I believe that's probably from when I collected the different mosses and plants from outside to put in here. And I think they have just kind of multiplied and grown, which is fantastic. On top of that though, I did add woodlouse. That's what we call them. Some people call them something pigs. I can't remember. But they're essentially isopods and they have been working hard at work. I put maybe about 10 of them in, some big, some small, and I do believe that they have mated in here because I've seen quite a few babies, which is very exciting. I don't think any of them can get out of the tank, but who knows? Don't tell my husband. But I think they're making a huge difference in terms of the turnover of kind of rotting and dead plant material. There is plenty in here for them. And this is kind of what I wanted to get out of this, you know? And I think it's just something that's going to consistently evolve. And if things die, I can add new things and just kind of learn as I grow and we can figure it out. But I'm really, really happy with it. And I do think the higher light levels have made a huge difference. It's much more green looking than it used to be. And that's not just because of the additional sphagnum, but you know, there's moss growing here. The plants just look, the individual plants just look much healthier than me. Now, obviously we have a lot of dead material as well, but I'm choosing to keep that in it because I think it's more natural. I think overall it helps with the look of it, but I genuinely am obsessed, and the Mother grow light has made a huge difference to this. And I did get a timer, so that's fantastic. So guys, that is it for the update on the terrarium and the Mother PlantSpectrum32 light review. I hope that you enjoyed watching. I will probably just continue to do updates on this every now and again to let you guys know how it's doing, things that I've changed, things I've learned, things that are failing and things that are doing well. But yeah, I'm very excited now that it has a really solid light source. I think this is going to change a lot for this terrarium and I'm really excited to see how it does in the future. Thank you so much to my wonderful patrons for supporting me this month. If you guys are interested, the link to my Patreon is on the screen. You get access to all kinds of perks, including a bonus video every month, patron only, a Discord chat, and a shout out at the end of my videos. In the species tier, thank you so much to Grace, Siobhan and Yendi. In the genus tier, thank you to Amy and Amy. Thank you so much from this Amy. And in the family tier, thank you so much to Michael. I appreciate you so much for supporting me. It means the world, genuinely. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed. I will see you very soon in the next one.